The South African Nuclear Energy Corporation, NECSA, is hosting a roundtable that highlights its work and its contribution to the South African economy. NECSA is a state-owned company responsible for undertaking and promoting research and development in the field of nuclear energy and radiation sciences. The session, taking place in Parktown, Johannesburg, is led by NECSA Group Chief Executive Officer Loyiso Tyabashe, SABC News economics reporter Katlego, Legodi, and video journalist Sicelo Hlanula are there for us. A very good afternoon to you, Katlego. Tell us more.
A very good afternoon to you, Nombu, and to our viewers at home. We're coming to you live in Parktown. This is at the back of that presentation by the Group CEO of NECSA, really just taking us into confidence in terms of what has been happening at the entity. A very important one when you look at the energy mix that has been punted by the Energy and Electricity Minister, Dr. Hossein Tsoramokgopa. You find nuclear also featuring big in the integrated resource plan that would give us at least a sense of how we're going to incorporate all of these energy mixes to come through for energy security where the country is concerned. So today we see the group CEO of NECSA just taking us into confidence in terms of their turnaround strategy. It's been about 4 years of this turnaround strategy here, Nombu, and we're hearing that really they've seen green shoots yielding positive results in terms of the work that they've been doing in terms of just ensuring that this entity is profitable, but at the same time it's able to become optimum in terms of the requirements of this energy mix, and really taking us also into 6 programs that they've identified here that will ensure that at least we see nuclear and the country is starting to get the best out of the nuclear sector. I'm going to bring the CEO into the conversation now, Mr. Loyiso Tyabashe, who will just give us a sense of where we find ourselves now. I know that really you've lauded the fact that as NECSA, you're turning the corner. We've seen that 93% in terms of the KPIs and what would be expected of you. And we see at least that even the audits are starting to give us a positive coming from the entity. We've come from far and we're starting to get the best out of this sector. Maybe give us a sense of where we find ourselves and take us through these programs that you've identified that would ensure at least that we get the best out of nuclear going into the future.
Thank you very much, Katlego, and greetings to the viewers at large. From our end, I must state that before I can talk about where we are, it is important to talk about where we come from. As you've highlighted, we have a strategy that was approved by both the Board of Directors of NECSA, the South African Nuclear Energy Corporation, as well as the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy at the time, wherein the intent was to really stabilize the organization. We've seen the stabilization, and now we are starting to move forward to a point where we're starting to grow the organization. And as you've rightfully said, we've got 6 high-impact programs, as we term them, to make sure that we grow the organization to greater heights going forward. This is with the view of ensuring that nuclear occupies that center stage, but at the same time we share with the public what nuclear is all about, because there's a misconception that nuclear is only for electricity generation. We are very happy to say that as NECSA, we are involved in all aspects of the nuclear business, operating a research reactor for producing isotopes for medical treatment, isotopes for industrial applications, as well as doing much more work as it pertains to other chemicals and other activities that we do. So most importantly is that as we now continue to participate in the electricity sector through starting some research for nuclear power plants in the form of small modular reactors, we want to look for a credible partner where we can look for an SMR that will work perfectly for this country and for the continent at large. This is at the backdrop of the strategy that has been approved by the board, and we are very thankful for the support that we've had all the time from the shareholder and from our board of directors.
Give us a sense of these high-impact programs that you're punting here, and I know that you've said that some of them have already seen, these programs seen projects that are already underway in terms of us getting the best out of the nuclear sector. Where are we starting to see some of those, benefits coming from, and really give us a sense of the future? What does it look like with these projects that would play out under the 6 high-impact program?
First program I can talk about is the one on the research reactors, wherein we are looking at extending the life of the reactor that we're currently operating, as well as implementing a new reactor. which is called the multi-purpose reactor, research reactor. And we've had a cabinet approval to start the initial stages of the project. And it is really exciting times that we are going back into that dominance in the nuclear research reactor space. That's the first program. Second program is we want to explore the small modular reactors. We have the PBMR company that is being transferred now from Eskom. It is still under care and maintenance, but we want to see when it's lifted, when the care and maintenance is lifted, what is it that we can do with that intellectual property that is within the PBMR, but also looking at the international space of the SMRs. We want to see who can we collaborate with to make sure that we have an SMR that can fit the needs of our country, of our nation. Third program is looking at beneficiating the nuclear material in the form of uranium. Here we're talking about all the stages as elucidated in the nuclear energy policy, which is conversion, enrichment, fabrication of fuel for our research reactor, as well as what we can use for the Quebec reactors as well. And we're also looking at the new fuels for the new small modular reactors. The fourth program is increasing our footprint on the medical isotopes. We currently have about 3 that are dominating, but there's a whole suite of isotopes that need to be produced to help with the issue of medical diseases that we are seeing growing as highlighted by the World Health Organization. The other program is the fluorochemical program, wherein we want to develop our hydrofluoric acid plants. There's a big need in industry, steel industry. Fluorine is also needed in the automotive industry and the other sectors, and xenon difluoride is also needed in the electronics sector. That stable will also need to improve. The other program to talk about is the skills and capacity building. We want to develop skills for ourselves as we stand today as NECSA, as we grow with these high impact programs, as well as for the country at large, collaborating with FET colleges, SCTAs, collaborating with universities as well. Yeah. That's really the essence of the 6 high impact programs.
Yeah, we're out of time, Mr. Tyabashe, but before we let you go, you know very well that the SA-US relations are under the spotlight as we speak right now. One of the executive orders coming from Donald Trump was that we have a relationship with Iran where nuclear is concerned. Maybe just give us clarity where that is concerned. Do you have a memorandum of understanding with Iran that would see the United States then imposing these executive orders based on that? Where are we?
I can speak for NECSA. For NECSA, there is no memorandum of understanding with Iran, and there is no other working relationships that I'm aware of as an organization. And I believe that the work that we are doing is to collaborate with many, many other nations, including the USA, going forward, because nuclear is a very collaborative space. But on your question, clearly there is no work that we are doing with Iran.
Loyiso Tyabashe, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Is coming through as the Group CEO of NECSA, and you hear them telling us about the positives that are expected going into the future, but also we'll start seeing us as a country getting the best out of this energy mix where nuclear is concerned, and you hear them clarifying around those executive orders imposed on South Africa, saying that there is no memorandum of understanding with Iran where this is concerned, but really saying that the future looks bright for nuclear in South Africa. It's back to you in studio, Nompu.
Thanks very much, my colleague there, Katlego Legodi.